Hey guys, it's Chris Mancola with the Mancola Group over at West USA Realty, and we're doing our weekly market update. And this is where we try to keep you up to date on what's going on with the market using our MLS stats and our Crawford Report indexes. The Crawford Report is a company, they're basically our gurus that do all the stats and kind of break everything down for us, nice and neat and compact. And I'm going to look at some national stuff real quick and some hyper local stuff here in the Phoenix area so that we can really break down what's happening. The affordability factor right now is a big thing, obviously, for people with interest rates going up along with home prices. The affordability right now for a medium home price in the Phoenix area, greater Phoenix area, is 87,000. This is how much money you need to make 80 per year, $87,026 a year, $87,026 a year for the median home price in the greater Phoenix area. That median home price is going to be $470,000. That's the median. And that is an increase year over year of $27,302, which is a 46% increase. Wages have increased in the greater Phoenix area 6.4%, which is great, but not good enough to keep up with that. So obviously this is a thing. And then as far as the Phoenix area goes, for 33 months, we were number one listed for equity gains. Now we're number two, and Tampa, Florida has taken that number one spot. So something interesting that I wanted to point out to you there. If we look at our next set of items here, and we look at active, first of all, let me take a look at mortgage rates. So mortgage rates, which are kind of driving things right now in a big way, mortgage demand drops to a 22-year low as rates are rebounding, and that is a big deal. So we know we've seen the Fed basically raising interest rates due to high inflation. In my estimation, looking at what's causing this, well, the printing of money, pure simple economic factors of printing extra money for things like all the COVID relief stuff, among other things, and putting that into circulation, increasing energy costs, trying to go green maybe before we're quite ready, since we have 88% of our energy basically powered by those fossil fuels and coal and natural gas. 80% of our whole grid load is basically run off of those things. So it's kind of hard to go that way so fast, but when you have to move those things, through trucks and rail cars and, planes and all that sort of thing, and all that fuel cost goes up, so does the cost of everything else that gets transported to your home or to your store, right? So along with vehicles and the cost of lumber and all the things that go into building a home. So home prices are going up for those reasons. And we look at that's what's causing our inflationary factors in the housing market in a big way, along with companies like BlackRock coming in, among others, and buying up huge portions of the market in certain areas and neighborhoods especially. But that said, we've also seen a big migration too in the Phoenix area from places like California, where homes are much more expensive. So when they come here, maybe they're selling a home or they're making larger salaries or both, they're able to pay cash or buy a home and be more competitive than somebody else who's just a first-time home buyer in the Phoenix area. So there's all these factors happening all at once. And then we see they're raising interest rates to combat the inflation, right? And again, I'm no economic guru. I'm just going by all the information that's out there, right? So just looking at the pure numbers and facts. So mortgage rate demand drops to 22-year low as rates rebound. So we have our interest rates going up, and this means that for every we go from 3 to 4%, that's a 10% increase in your monthly payment. We go from 4 to 5%, that's another 10%. So we've basically gone up, looking year over year, we were right around 3% about a year ago, right? So now we're at over 5%. You're talking 20 to 25% higher or more in a monthly payment or less buying power, right? So let's look at this. So purchase loan apps down 7% from last week, down 21% from the same time last year. And refinance requests are down 75% from last year. Yeah, it's a big deal. Average rate for 30-year fixed is 5.4-ish, up from 5.33 the week before. Right now, after the Fed raised their rates, we're actually probably now we're going to be, and most of the mortgage companies are going to build this in, but we're going to be in the mid to high sixes by the time we're done here and they're finished raising everything. But let's just say we're in the mid threes right now. Conservatively, probably a little bit higher. And so that's obviously going to affect everybody. So if you didn't refinance when you could have, when we had rates that were in the threes or even twos over the last year or two, you missed the mark. Now, what will probably happen there is looks like in every indication is we're probably going to hit a recession. Again, recession does not equate a housing bubble. It just looks at a slowing of the housing market with these higher interest rates, a slowing of the housing market, right? Because people aren't going to be able to have all these competitive bids going on in these homes. So it would be more into a balanced market. All right. Again, we went through this the last 2 or 3 weeks. 2008, much different than now with all the regulations and the inventory shortages that we're still seeing. And I'm going to talk about that more in a minute. But to be in a balanced market for us for supply, we'd have to be around 20 to 30,000 in the listing department, and we're not there yet. Okay, so let's look at active listings, excluding under contract or under contract with contingency. So active listings, we are right now up 800 to 900 per week. We've been seeing that over the last week and the last month or so, last couple of months. We've seen this influx in supply in the last month to 6 weeks. And then we could see, again, Crawford doesn't like to give out specific dates, but we could, if it keeps going the way it is, 800 to 900 increase per month, we could see, right now we're running at around 11,000, a little over 11,000, 11,400 in the listing department. So by mid-August, we could see, if it keeps going like this, a balanced market if we keep increasing by 800 to 900 a week. And our demand keeps going down due to these interest rates and already high prices. Okay. So from March 11th to today, when we saw an increase in listings, when we saw the first big increase in listings, we see that active listings are up 138%, went from 4820 on March 11th all the way to today, and give or take a little bit, obviously, because numbers fluctuate by the minute on what's sold and what's available for sale, but about 11,471 when I checked this. So it went from 4820 to 11,471. And again, that's an increase in 138%. Single family homes went up 148%. Condos and townhomes went up 139%. So when we have an increase in supply and a decrease in demand, obviously we're going to see a little bit of a fluctuation. Even though we're still technically in a seller's market, we're seeing that buyers may have less competition, people getting priced out of the market due to prices and interest rates, especially interest rates, and these factors that we already just talked about here. So if we look at prices, home prices in the Phoenix area, from 400,000 to 1 million. Okay. And again, these stats here I'm giving you are all from the Phoenix metropolitan area. We look at 400,000 to 1 million. Our supply is up 100 overall, 183% in supply. Okay. Again, this goes in the favor of the buyer, right? And then our supply from 1 million to 2 million. Okay. For us, in our area, that's still, a pretty good chunk of change in the Phoenix area. It's up 163% from 1 million to 2 million. So these are obviously factors that, are going to make a big difference in the market, in supply and demand. And that's just since March, guys. And you throw in these interest rates going up so fast, so big, so fast. We had a 75 basis point increase just this week from the Fed. It's a big deal, right? So moving right along, if we look at the CMI is the Crawford Market Index. Again, Crawford report sends us their information, all their data to tell us what's going on in the housing market so we can pass that information on to our clients. And the CMI, the Crawford Market Index, tells us if we're in a balanced market or a buyer or seller's market. Anything under 90 on their index is a buyer's market. Anything over 110 is a seller's market. And anything in between that is a balanced market, 100 being exactly balanced, obviously, in that index. So right now, the overall index is at 237.5, which is still a seller's market. But remember, just a matter of a couple, 2-3 months ago, we were in the 4s and the 5s, right? So it's coming down quickly, very quickly, due to these increases in interest rates. The price in the homes obviously is a factor, but the interest rate increases are huge, and the influx in new supply, basically more than doubling our supply, is really made a big difference, because we went from that 4,820 to 11,471, right, in supply of active listings. So that's just since March 11th. Big difference. So take into factor that supply and that interest rate, big deal. Demand. We look at the demand, 93.3 on the index. It's been going steadily down in demand due to these factors, but right now it's at 93.3, which puts us a little bit below that 100 mark, which is the exact middle, but technically still in the balanced range, but heading towards the demand area of a buyer, right? So what we're looking at is the demand and the supply going to meet soon in the middle, and then put us in that balanced market, right? Don't have a crystal ball. Crawford saying we could be there within a couple of months by mid-August. The supply right now is at so the demand is down 7% since last week, and at 93.3 on the index, and it's falling pretty quickly. So we see with the supply we're at 39.3, which is still 60% below normal on supply. But again, those numbers, were up to 75% just, about 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, at 75% below normal. So a huge difference there. So when we see that, when we get to a point where they meet, that's going to be a big deal. Month to month, it's the CMI is down 34 points. And the last week, month over month, it was down 33 points. All of 2021, we were much higher. We were in the 400s to 500s. All right. I'm sorry, mid to high 300s to 400s at this point and beyond in 2021. In 2022, the first 5 to 6 months, due to the COVID freeze, so to speak, people were kind of frozen in place. What do? That number was down, but then after that, it went up. So at this point and moving forward, the CMI was higher than it is now. What does that all mean? Well, again, we got to keep an eye on that supply and demand. When that supply and demand meet or go below where we're supposed to be, then we're going to see that we have some issues with our demand once it drops below 90. And once our supply gets higher, again, it's got to be around 20 as far as total inventory. We're going to see, where that takes us to be in a balanced market. Okay. But we'll keep an eye on rates. We'll keep an eye on the index for you. If you guys have any questions at all about your area and what to expect right now in your area, right now for buyers, again, you're gaining ground. Listings or sellers are still, we're still in a sell, technically in a seller's market, but you're losing leverage. So guys, keep that in mind. If you have any questions, please reach out. We'd love to be able to talk to you about what your home could sell for right now and what's going on. Personally, right now we're seeing that homes are staying on the market maybe an extra a few days, even a week, up to a week or two more than what we were seeing just 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So we're not in that super hot market that we were in before, guys. So if you have any questions at all, reach out 480-788-8569. Call or text us there. Home@mincolagroup.com. You can email us or check us out at mincolahomes.com and mincolagroup.com. We'll talk to you next time. Thank you.